Well, greetings. I'm back from my sunset walk. Walked around the park real quick. And stopped off at the Quickie Mart. Grabbed some chips off the shelf and got in line. And the guy in front of me in line turned around and looked at me and said, "You're my fine looking little lady," and started just rah 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 and wanted to buy me my chips and my chocolate cherries. No chocolate cherries. So I totally don't expect to be able to hold to the topic very long. But that's where I want to go, because that's what we're looking at. And, I was asked earlier about Zionism being, I made a statement about it being older. I guess it was at Twitter. Somebody didn't understand how it we got to where we did with such control over our thoughts regarding Israel and Zionism. My feeling is that same family's been at it straight along since we crawled out of came down out of trees and crawled out of caves. That we're the only species people sell resources to. But we're the only people that sell resources to each other. And just the complexity of the feudal setup with the lords and the serfs. You have to wonder when something like Israel disappears like that, how it got so popular. I mean, powerful. And I said it's the same people. You can easily trace the Rothschild Morgan crowd's the New World Order bunch of 1776. Their paper trail is clear as a bell in the Library of Congress. Well, there's nobody here yet. So we'll see who shows up. I don't really want to advertise much. No. One more days, I'll be back at Facebook. Nobody's here yet. Well, I don't want to get like too far into what I wanted to talk about. I don't want to get into what I want to talk about at all until anybody shows up. share this around. Would be like unfortunate if that happened. I think it did. Shit. Hello. Hello. I'm gonna wait for a few people to, like, you know, to ask questions or something. I don't really have any specific things I want to read. There's all kinds of things that, you know, what you're looking at here is a crazy old hippie who's been reading shit forever, and I know where it's hidden. And if you have questions, I can answer. You know, I'm an answer person. You have questions about things, I've probably studied it a little bit. You know, conspiracy theories, for instance. I'm a conspiracy researcher. I see a conspiracy and I fact check it. And a lot of them turn out to be true. Let me grab that article. Or there's probably a few of them. See which ones. See which ones are. You know, we can talk about our favorite conspiracy theories here. My favorite conspiracy theory is this one: is that what we're looking at now is the end game from that was started with the story of Adam and Eve in the garden. Is what you're looking at now. And, here's 25 conspiracy theories that turned out to be true. Just to get you guys started. But the basic premise here is that the industrial culture of the Rothschild Morgan, you know, Rothschild Morgan New World Order syndicate of bankers, it's not sustainable. It's a perpetual war machine driven by oil that is just simply not sustainable. They're killing the planet faster than it can repair itself. And what will happen is that it'll trigger an event, or we've been triggering events that are more and more serious in intensity, that will hasten the planet's bringing itself back into balance by getting rid of a problem that the humans are causing. I need to deal with my nose. I want to do that outside. It's a real mess right now. I don't know how long I'm gonna last. My nose is. If I can't breathe through my nose, I'm not going to be able to last long. And it's one of those nights. I don't know why. So, hi, I'm Tommy Jane. I'm an intersex hippie from Chicago, Jewish American princess. I was a Jewish American prince. I was forced to be a Jewish American prince, son of boss, for most of my life. And I stopped doing that. About 10 years ago, I decided, okay, no, there's enough of this. And I'm gonna start living authentically. I'm gonna show the world what I am. I'm not gonna hide behind the dirt and the beard anymore. And I've been doing that for the last 5 years. I've been standing against industrial fascism since the day they shot John Kennedy. My fifth grade teacher came in the room at 1 o'clock. We already knew because Ginny Superfine had come through the line of us waiting on Waldine Street, Melrose, Waldine, to go in for social studies class. And Mr. Bluestein comes out and they just shot the president. There was a coup d'etat, and they're gonna blame Patsy. And this was before they even caught Oswald. And we were all, like I said, the Jewish American princes, son of bosses, with military industrial families. My family was in architecture and engineering, contracting, light manufacturers. But my grandfather owned a garment factory. My other grandfather had an electrical contractor, and his brother-in-law was a prominent Chicago architect by the name of Max Wallenberg. And so here we were, the Happy Days kids. We grew up in a time of peace. I was born when the Korean War ended, and from then until they shot John Kennedy, we were looking at no wars, just the Cold War. We had to worry about the Russians launching the big one at us. It was the only thing that we had to worry about. We didn't have to watch our troops getting blown up or watch our troops blowing people up or any of that shit that we've been watching for the last 50 years since Vietnam. And they took our lives away from us. I wanted to be an astronaut, aquanaut. And I went to the Navy twice, and just never could come to terms with them. I wasn't going to fly. First time they wanted me to go be a medic and put in 5 years at sea before they even considered OCS, and they couldn't guarantee anything because I only had a high school diploma. So going brownwater sailing with a Red Cross on my helmet didn't sound like a real good idea in 1973. So I tried to go into medicine, or I finished school. So I did. I got ahead of myself there. I finished school and went back to them after I graduated, and they wanted me to fly back seat in the Tomcat, and that wasn't going to happen. It just didn't work out. So then I was bouncing around. I ended up in medicine for a while. I couldn't stand that. because of all the animal torture, and ended up on Venice Beach, right as they're like getting their crowd control techniques down pat for the Olympics coming up in 1984. My friend rescued me, put me to work behind a desk, dispatching trucks in '83 and '84. Tried to get back in medicine again, but Reagan dried up the funding at the last minute, and I ended up back on Venice Beach, and here I am. I've been involved with the Native American activists since 1989. Little bit before, actually, more like 86, but not so full on. 89 is when I had recovered a box of material from 2 boxes of material from the Leonard Peltier Defense Committee, including petitions with signatures on them. So I ran that out in Nevada as a gathering, and I ran that back to Lawrence, Kansas to give to them, and took more out on the road with me and carried it for many years until somebody convinced me that maybe Leonard should really be in jail because of something else that I don't want to go into tonight because I don't know enough about it to talk about it off the cuff in public like this. But I've still been involved with Native American people, and you know, I'm reaching out to I have some friends in Tejano Nation. I'm asked one of them to try and arrange an introduction to Verlin Jose, the vice chairman, who's like sworn that if their wall goes across that land, it's going to be over his dead body. And I wanted to, you know, get tuned into that action. He's promising if they try to build a wall across their land, that there's going to be a backlash from the indigenous people of the world that'll eclipse what we saw at Standing Rock. And I wanted to let them know that I'm with them because I'm a neighbor. The industrial, you know, petrochemical industry is not sustainable. They've known this for over 100 years that they were going to fuck things up, and they've been covering it up since the 80s at least. They found a memo. We'll probably, you know, if this gets going and people ask questions, I'll go get that memo. Where Exxon knew, they covered it up. They've been one of the reasons we haven't had, you know, they've been promising an electric car, for instance, for forever, and they you know, they don't want to do it because of the gas lobby, and they finally got it together and still like half and half. And then you know, where's the electricity coming from? What's generating that? Our whole the whole idea of of burning something to capture the energy by boiling water. It's just a giant tea kettle, and you're looking at less than a 5% energy efficiency. And it's not capturing much of the energy. It's throwing all this gas back in the atmosphere that the Earth took billions of years to get out of it so that we could breathe it. And as the permafrost melts, it's accelerating it because it's sending methane out that's been trapped for millions of years. And we're seeing bigger storms. We're seeing you know, I haven't seen anything like really really heavy duty 100,000 or more people get killed earthquake in a long time, but we're sure going to get one around. Same thing with the volcano. One of them is going to blow right near a population center. If the Yellowstone caldera goes, 2/3 of the United States is going to be uninhabitable for many years. And just the whole, you know, the cities, for instance, they're parasites. They require constant feeding from outside. And then we're like, all this mass production of meat is costing the planet dearly in the CO2 that's generated from it. And it's not the climate warming or the one thing that is undeniable that we've always known about the Earth is that the climate is not stable. It changes, and it changes over time, and it goes through cycles. We've seen that, and for our leadership to not recognize, for the way that Trump poo-pooed that warning for the report that came out, that UN report, I think it was, or I don't think, maybe, I don't know, it was like a big panel of scientists, and they just poo-pooed on it. We don't have much time left before the planet is going to make our lives very, very difficult. So, does anybody got any ideas, questions? What do we need to do next, or whatever? I'm just gonna go poking around and see what's cooking. I really don't feel like taking many calls. If you want to talk to me, call me at my Hangouts on yeah. If you want to talk to me, I'm not taking any calls on the phone for the stream. If you want to talk, call me at Hangouts. Well, that's pretty much. Well, just she will heal herself. This is going to happen, and get rid of most of us when she does it. Anybody who doesn't know how to live close to the Earth, without all these life support systems of modern civilization, isn't going to have a real good time of it. Yeah, if you want to talk to me, I'll try and take this call and see what happens. Something's going wrong with the phone. Yeah, the calls are just coming in and hanging up. Well, yeah, hemp is a huge part of the answer. Anything that's, and not just hemp. There's a number of them, like bamboo, jojoba. What are some of the others? There's several of them. That anything that we're making from petrochemicals or coal can be made from fresh biomass. Yeah, I don't know what's with the phone. Don't even bother calling this phone. This phone ain't getting answers. So Rainbow 62, I don't recall seeing you before. Hi, hilarious. Thanks for coming. Does that mean you're like a rainbow head that was born in 1962? Cool. Were you a deadhead, gatherer, woodstocker? Well, you're a little young for Woodstock. What? Just get high and chill. Well, I was 15 in Woodstock. Right. So you're a hippie rainbow or gay rainbow or both or what's what you don't mind me asking? Because I'm not homosexual, but I am a queer. You can understand that. Um, I like guys, but my guys need to have a vagina because I'm a woman with a penis. That's what it is. I mean, I like girls too because, like, I guess I'd make them bi. No, I'm not bi because I don't like cis guys. I mean, I'd like cis guys for a price, but I don't want to go into that right now. Well, sure. What the hell? Why not? Somebody want to, I've been doing pretty good. And oh, right on. Sure, that makes sense. Yeah. Hello, progressive psycho or psyche. I'm sorry. I don't see real well. God, no, I was always different. Yeah, and up until 1982, I always considered myself more of a beatnik freak than a hippie freak. And then when I hit the beach in 1982, all the deadheads and them were telling me, "No, you got to be a hippie. The beatniks are gone." Like, okay, well, all I did was trade in my blue beret for the rainbow one, and start wearing brighter colors. What I'm sorry, it's hard to keep this thread going. You said Rainbow 62. You said government knows this, but they would lose money in oil. What were you referring to? Oh, well, there's yeah, it's that's why it's not just oil money. Let's see if the phone's actually going to take a call this time. Nope, phone doesn't want to answer a blocked number. That's how why it became illegal. It wasn't just the oil. And at that time was more wood pulp paper products and nylon. There was DuPont and Hearst and Augie Bush was a big influence there because the prohibition had ended and they lost a lot of their business to weed, and they were trying to get it back. And they all just hanged up on weed. They made this whole big marijuana scare, and they never consulted the doctors. So the doctors at that time were prescribing it for more things than anything else. And here we are. There, I think I went off on a tangent before when I was trying to say this. Is that the oil companies have known straight along that they needed to not be doing what they're doing, and have refused to. They've been blocking the appropriations bills for research and development money on green technologies since the 80s. They haven't let. They don't let. We don't have renewable energy resources. We're way behind most of the countries in Europe in conversion. You're always seeing, oh yeah, we just got half of our production now is solar or something like that in Europe, and we're just like at about 10%, I think, 10 or 12% maybe. Of otherwise, it's all nukes and coal and oil, and then they don't even, all the nuke plants are old and leaking, and they don't really know what they're going to do with the waste anyway, and got awful places to do it. But the places they have for it now are all bad. And then the I don't know what they're going to do. And then Fukushima hasn't hardly even started to kill anybody yet. And it could leave most of the northern hemisphere uninhabitable. Kill off the Pacific Ocean bad. Already is. And this is the Earth. Bob Laser. Well, I don't know about that guy in particular. And I saw some of that wind farms and solar farms are taking over retrofitted coal plants right now. So the green movement is picking up speed. Yeah, and I think it was Buffett and Gates were kind of saying that they were going to be trying to finance more green stuff a few years ago. And I don't know what they've actually done. But as far as Area 51, I don't know that particular guy, but the way the story appears to me is that they shot that fucking thing down. It didn't crash on its own. And they cannibalized it and distributed all the shit to all the Defense Department contractors, Bell Labs and such. Go Google TCAT and Bell Lab together and see what you get back. And so we're looking at alien technology and everything that we have. I probably have in the past. The name says I've never gone real deep into any of this, because to be honest, I receive my directions from them, and they're not aliens. They're ascended Earth beings that are gone off to other places and travel the cosmos, and they because of the ship. The time dilation, because of the ship traveling at ultralight, hyperlight speed, thousands of years go by here in between their visits, but they've really only been gone a few weeks, something like that. I don't know how that works really, but that's what's up. They're just the ancient astronauts coming back. So what was I looking for? I should really stop talking when I go looking for something. What was I looking for? I know about Paperclip and Werner von Braun. You track, go look and see who followed on after Werner von Braun. The people that Werner von Braun changed. That's what I was told to do. The one that he changed. I want to see Bob Laser. That's right. Which guy is this? Gravity wave propulsion and powered by the element 115. Yeehaw. No, I have never seen this guy before. He's not one of them. He doesn't look familiar. I'll have to listen to some of those sometime. Yeah, something like that. Hilarious. Oh well, I know. I'm pretty sure he is. There's been some rumble in the jungle about the aliens lately, but they're not alien. Well, there's some are aliens, but God. for instance. that the guy they call God in all the ancient scriptures of ours and everybody else's, you know, Odin and Zeus and them, it's all the same guys. We haven't seen them since Moses at Sinai, from what I can tell reading. Something happened with Ezekiel. Company stores, we used to call it. CIA front businesses, they're just everywhere. I was pretty certain that an old social networking platform. They can't hide God. They're trying. I don't know what they're trying to do. But they're certainly not obeying God, and they're going to find out real soon. I know they could be. You know, I never. Nobody ever told me about God before I knew God in my own life. Now, people are waking up to what's true and enduring inside of themselves. That, you know, the mother's holding our feet to the ground, and the father's keeping our hearts beating with his hand, at the very least. And you know, if you don't know that outflow of goose flesh that comes from your heart or rises from your feet when things are, well, this is what I'm talking about right now. The divine reveals its presence to those who open themselves to the cosmos. Just by reading that, I could feel the warmth from the mother's hands on my ankles. Just reading that. That's where God is. You know, we're spirit beings and that are occupying mortal flesh. And well, I'm saying that I'm reasonably certain that well, the scripture of my ancestors talks about people who've gone on to travel the heavens. Elijah walked with God, and God supposedly was our father, Adam's father. So he had, you know, this is a human form. That's where the belief, probably, you know, the bearded guy in the sky, but the creator, the it's hard to not see him, not feel him, or them. The creator's plural, and I really feel, you know, when things are right, I'll feel the warmth coming up my legs or coming out of my heart, and when things are wrong, I'll have like aches and pains and cramps and shit. Is that Ezekiel? The throne? I had a hard time staying in my body when I was a kid. and yeah, well, I lay down and I'm gone. And I do it several times a day if I can. So that one's from Ezekiel. Yeah, it's true. All, you know, if you look at the Mayan stuff, Quetzalcoatl kind of matches, and certainly Zeus and Odin, and probably Krishna and bunch of gods match what's going on in the Bible. If you look at it from the right angle. Well, have you ever looked at the schematics they've done of the Ark of the Covenant. Some kind of condenser. I'm going to step out for a little tobacco again. Alrighty. Transceiver. Transceiver. And from what I understand, something of a portal. I don't think we have to travel very far. From what I understand, the entire solar system is pretty heavily populated. I'm pretty much up. I mean, I'd love to stay and help, and you know, without war. I really would. And I hope that's what's going to happen. You know, that's been my vision, and it's a shared vision. I know other people with the same vision that they're going to come back, and all the bad people are going to be taken away, and we're going to live happily ever after. That's what I see. But we have to convince them to do that. That's what I'm told, and that comes from a giant unified prayer. Oh, 150,000 people need to come together and like call them down to us and say, "Here, please come help us." Because really, if you study history, you'll discover that that's what's written about the 144,000 stuff. If you study the history, you'll see that this Rothschild Morgan crowd has been like 100 years ahead of the game the whole way for thousands of years. Probably the Zionists have been 100 years ahead of the game, manipulating whole civilizations into going to war against each other, and that's what they're doing right now. That's what Palestine's about. They've been building it since 1776. They want to bring on the apocalypse. You know, they think they're going to bring Jesus back that way. Well, I'm told that this planet has known much more peace than war before this last civilization. I don't know. I wasn't there. If you never read this book, Initiation, well, that's the thing, is that we don't have much. Yeah, right. We don't have much. We don't know what happened really more than 100,000 years ago at the most. You know, there's a lot of speculation over anything older than that. Actually, it's more like 10 or 12,000 years. Anything older than that doesn't really show much. And yeah, in that time, sure. But we don't know from before then. This book will help fill in a lot of gaps in your understanding of the cosmos and of what happened back then. So by Elizabeth Haich, H-A-I-C-H, is a book called Initiation. And here's the whole thing to read for free. Well, one would we hope. Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Hilarious. No, um, I'm descendant of Moses and Aaron's sons, my ancestors, and this is what they've guided me to see and do all my life. That's where it's going. Is that all that the Creator we've done to ourselves. That's all He expected of us. And if you read Deuteronomy 6, 7, and 8, spells it out pretty clearly. You know what it's about, what we're expected to do, what the rewards will be if we do it, and what we're expected not to do, and what the punishment will be if we do that. 6, 7, and 8. Well, I don't know. Have you ever really looked at the have you ever read the Hebrew liturgy? No, the prayer book. This stuff. So there's a lot of things in the Torah that are pretty highly questionable. This stuff here, well, the Torah has not been corrupted. It's been copied meticulously, but there's still content in there that's pretty highly questionable. But if you read the prayer book, the things that Jews say to God, you'll see a different picture, a totally different picture. The prayers are all about, giving thanks and praise to God for everything in our lives. There's little prayers for everything we do. Coming home safely from a journey, waking up in the morning, going to bed at night. Religion is a way of life. It's churches that are a problem. And churches are really political organizations. They're not religions. They're political organizations that exploit religions. When you peel everything away, you're going to find that the moral standards from religion to religion are pretty consistent. That the golden rule exists in all of them, including Native Americans. The pretty universal agreement on what's sinful and what's righteous behavior too. Yeah, well, it's a training. It's for and focus. It's for focus. Now, I personally, my sect was much what's called Cray or Reform. free means free. From is strict or rigid, I think, is from. And my sect was Reform, and our rabbis taught us to kind of focus on what's true and enduring about, the rules of living. Well, yeah, that's true. But I was born in America in a Reformed synagogue, and educated in a Reformed synagogue that, where we were taught to focus on Shema and, come to one with ourselves and with the Creator, and to live according to the basic rules and principles of faith, and not worry about what happened thousands of years ago, because a lot of that's not very accurate, and it's the observations of a primitive society looking at advanced culture. Is what the way it came to us, was that, they didn't understand God flying around and shit like that, and they called it fun things that look strange. Well, this is because I do believe that this is a character that actually exists, that this is an ancient astronaut that's been coming and going from this planet for a long, long time. Do you know anything about terraforming? Well, the way our rabbis gave it to us was that we're the sensory organs of God on this planet, that God is looking at things through our eyes, and that we should always behave in a way that we might be the one anointed to lead humanity out of the abyss. I've been resisting that job. I've volunteered to do nothing more than just say pass or fail on anybody who claims to be the Messiah. I don't want that fucking job. No way. But I'm here. My eyes will know. My sense organs will know if that's really the right one. That's where my head's at on God, on the bearded guy in the sky. I believe that Jehovah, Zeus, Odin, Quetzalcoatl, and any of the other kings of the gods are the same guy. That the illimitable one that we can't know his form, because he's all form. It's all forms. It's called Elohim. And if you read the book of Genesis carefully, you'll notice that the name YHVH does not appear for the first few chapters, the first few verses, and it doesn't show up until the garden, until he's walking in the garden with Adam. It's the first time you see YHVH. So there's a complete separation between Elohim and Jehovah or Yehovah, where one is clearly an infinite being and the other one is finite and anthropomorphic. And so when I was a kid, that was the dawn of the space age and science fiction movies and all that happy shit. I don't remember the rabbi ever saying it directly or not, but we got the impression that these were like the astronauts, the ancient astronauts. These were the people that were out colonizing. They left. We're reading science fiction stories about space colonization and shit like that, and that just made perfect. The Bible made perfect sense in that perspective to us. That's like I forget. I think it was Hilarious said before about how those were bad people, bad times. They were cleaning the planet out. There was, the gods were always warring with each other and fucking the women and shit, and there were problems that arose, and they quarantined the planet. It's 4:20 somewhere. Yeah, and I'm assured and I have friends who have get the same messages. The quarantine's going to be over soon. Quarantine's going to be over real soon. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be just spectacular the day it's over. I don't know how that works, but we have an ethereal body that's immortal and a flesh body that's mortal. That I understand. That I know. The extermination crew is coming. Have you ever read Philip Jose Farmer posed as Kilgore Trout, which is actually a character of Kurt Vonnegut's, and wrote expanded on one of Vonnegut's like little nuggets of a story called Venus on the Half Shell, which was about, he read Venus on the Half Shell. That's a fun story. The Hooners coming to wipe out the earth, just flood it out, just wash it away. Oh, it's been a long time since I saw that one. That was a good one. Charlton Heston did several good ones. What is it? Escape from New York, Planet of the Apes, of course. But I think Escape from New York was pretty wild. Wasn't he and Edward G. Robinson? Didn't he do that with him, or are you talking about a later remake? I think the original was Charlton Heston and Edgar G. Robinson. This is annoying me because I don't. Oh, this is gonna annoy me if this thing doesn't want to work. I have to go out and get a Bic or something. Yeah, that was fun. 10 Commandments was always fun. Edward G. Robinson was in that one too. Yeah, the flat earthers. That goes with the moon landing hoax, and I don't buy into either of them because they're not true. There's a big old rock that we're sitting on that come out of an even bigger rock, you know, it's rocks. They're spinning through space. Demonic propaganda to get people to disbelieve in the nature of the cosmos. I wouldn't doubt that. There's people trying to call, and nobody's smart enough to call my hangout. So I'm not gonna pick up the phone. I've been promised that it's gonna happen like real soon. By the end of 2020, that's what I've been promised. They won't say when, but they, you know, if it hasn't happened by the end of 2020, I'm going to be requesting that people just kill me. It's like you, I want out of here. I've had, 64 years of very difficult life, denied everything I wanted, having to adapt to all sorts of fucking hardship, and fuck that. I want out of here. Okay, I answered one. Let's see what. They're not going through. They're just getting disconnected. It's really strange. On both phones, just disconnecting. Everybody who's ever lived is supposed to be alive. That's the promise. We'll see our dead friends and family, and my vision is that the rescue craft is going to come in, and the heavenly host is going to come flying out the bottom of it, and It's not going to be a flying band with all the dead rock stars. Is my hallucination of the last day. I have a number of friends on board that have, I'm pretty telepathic. I don't hear voices. I get mental impressions. I don't know why these calls are not being, they're connecting and then disconnect. I don't know what the fuck is up with this. And I'm not happy about this. The lighter just doesn't want to work right. I think the lighter is on its last legs. Right on. The Queen is a lizard. I think a lot of them are lizard. For when Bibi Netanyahu was addressing Congress, I saw just he's a lizard and all the Congress people were lizards. I wasn't even hot. I see lizards. I see lizards in people all the time, because that's what I'm told is what happened. What happened was I never listened to David Icke, so I don't know what he's saying. But what I'm told is that there was an improper mating. That's the allegory being told in the even the snake story. That it resulted in a hybrid that's fucked up the human gene pool, and that's why they quarantined the planet. And that's what's working itself out, is that the lizards had a lower state of technology that involved combustion, where the Earth uses the gravitational and magnetic forces for energy transfer. And well, I think that all the planets are not exactly hollow, but they're all populated. Is what my astral travels told me. I didn't go very far. I was visiting places, I distinctly remember dreams of being on Jupiter. And when I did leave this world, I remember that I used to go walking down into the sub-basements of the train station and find myself in another world. That remains to be seen, Psyche. And I guess it's all up to us, and it's not over until the dead lady sings. The reality matrix, as you say, the multiverse. What's real one person might not be real to somebody else when it comes down to actual reality. What actually happens, I don't know. But I think it's you're smoking Megalodon. I'm smoking Platinum Phenom Kush. They're just burning on my phone, and they're just burning on my phone. And I'm trying to answer it, nobody's there. It hangs right up. White Widow? Is that that's a stupid weed? It's a chuckle weed. Yeah, well, this is the thing. Is real. You've got 7 billion little mortals running around this world, all with the same mind, but not all acting different. So there's only one consciousness, but it's occupying all these other bodies, and rare few of them really realize what's going on. And those of us who think we do, the better understanding that we have of all this, the more we realize we don't have a fucking clue. You know, it's that old saying about the more you know, the more you realize that you don't hardly know even the smallest fraction of what there is to know. This is really annoying. The phone is constantly ringing, and when I answer it, it doesn't answer. Pick up, hang up. I think I'm going to shut the fucking thing down. If you're done, I'm through it, because I even turned off. It's still like humming, buzzing. Yeah, it's a bunch of trolls. Probably somebody's probably got an auto dialer set up to just keep calling it. I totally dread pollen this year. I'm not sure when it's going to start, but boy, it's going to be bad because it's been wet. I'm bad. It's so far it's not. It's still. Let's see what's happening. Thing of it is central Tucson, and they don't have the monitoring stations downtown. Monitoring stations, none of them are anywhere near downtown. And downtown, the dust is always real bad because it's in the middle of the bowl, and the rail line is running right through it. So it's good today in particulates and gases, whereas the pollen isn't. They don't do the pollen on here. Five-day pollen. I'll know when the pollen starts going. I haven't been sneezing. When I start sneezing a lot, that's when the pollen's starting to happen. And then it'll get, at the worst of it, I have to sleep sitting up, or I drown in my own boogers. How about where's the pollen count? Uh-oh. Prescott is the worst city. Is one of the worst cities today. And Yuma. That's a bad sign. Where's the pollen count? Oh, there it is. Uh-oh. Oh, yippee. This is not going to be a good week for me. It's medium high right now, and it's supposed to get up to 11.7. 12 is as high as it goes on Wednesday. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are going to be really bad. I think I better. No, I did some of this earlier. I'm not supposed to do this more than once or twice a day, and I think I already did it twice. Yeah, someone with COPD can't inhale that deeply. Yeah. You know, they're going to try and tell, this is what I was talking about earlier. There's all sorts of shit that will accuse me of and say is wrong with me on mental illness and physical illnesses. And this is the cough. The cough, I've had it all my life. It's here to here. I'm a booger factory. And it's all related. And they're going to shame me about in coughing. I'm not getting too many people seeing me as male as female now. More people see me as female, which feels good. It's kind of good. It's we were talking about this earlier. Well, that's the thing. Yes, please. For the saxophone, yeah, right. Good night, Progressive Psyche. Thanks for coming, man. You know, I really, yeah, pollen has already started. You know, I haven't checked in a week or so, and it's just been getting steadily worse on me. Yippee. The herb. My father wouldn't have survived my puberty. Neither would I if it wasn't for the herb. I discovered the herb when I was 11, and it's helped me learn to step back from aggression. Now I got a problem. Now I got nothing to light anything with. I don't have it. The lighter is definitely dead. Oh well. I don't even have. Where's the matches? I can't have anything to light the matches on. Well, anyway. I don't want to be sitting here just jibber-jabbing all night anyway. I think I'm going to just wrap this up and go take another walk and go get something to make fire with. Salvia divinorum and ayahuasca. I've never had ayahuasca. I don't know where to get it, and I don't know about salvia. I like to do some mushrooms every now and then. A good clean LSD is good for that too. Mushrooms and cactus though are my favorite. I haven't had peyote very many times, but it's yeah. I didn't really have much of a guide for either we had a sort of totally improper peyote meeting in my friend's kitchen one time. He's a member of the Big Mountain Sundance Medicine Lodge. He was already in 1989. We were traveling through, and they brought out the mushroom tea for me and a crazy, drunken Cherokee medicine man and a Mohawk brother that named Charlie Walker and Protest Pete were traveling with me on the great Red World Peace Tour of David Williams. So I was the lead vehicle for cross country, taking a message of Thomas Banyackia mainly. But the message at that time was for the United Nations from Thomas Banyackia, and free Leonard Peltier and all this other happy stuff. That was my Elvis year. I need to tell the whole story. I won't, not tonight. Not tonight. It's just, the whole trip was just, it started at the Long Beach Arena in about September, I don't remember. I'd have to look up the date of the show. Dead were there, and I was there with my motorhome for the first time. And I was flying an American flag from the radio mast upside down. And David was cruising a lot with Chief Charlie, and they saw me and came and talked, and he recruited me to do this the next year, to drive drive cross country to all these stops, mostly on dead tours and stuff like that, to D.C. for some ceremonies. Someday, it was a cross country trip that took 6 months. So there's lots to tell on that one. That was my Elvis year. And then after that, I just got to migrating in a triangle around the country. My grandmother was in Broward County, Florida, and the gem shows were out here. And then Woodstock was in New York, upstate New York. And that was those were my main stops along the way. And then, you know, we'd blow through the Midwest and see family and friends and go pick up the Dead tour to go east on in the summer tour. Was 89 through 95. Gary died. I'd like to get back to it. There was a lot of expendable income in the economy at the time, and we were living fat, doing the Stones and playing music and stuff. Well, it's when I got kicked to the curb, it was the only thing that made sense was the Woodstock notion. You know, peace, love, and music is the only way out of here. Everything else, and if you read Ecclesiastes, he said the same thing back then. Everything else besides contentment and peace, inner peace and contentment are the only things that really matter. Everything else is chasing after vanity. So when I got kicked out, it was like, okay, well, if it's not fun, I ain't doing it. And I'm 64. My grandfather was dead for 8 years by the time he was 64. My grandmother's mind was almost gone from Alzheimer's. The other grandmother's guts were eaten up from, he had bleeding ulcers from my grandfather's philandry. Excuse me. I'm feeling really good. My hair's growing back from the finasteride I'm taking. So, and some guy thought I was so cute he wanted to buy my chips today. But I think I'm gonna cut out. Because I need some quiet time for me. I might come back a little later. No, it's already 8 o'clock. Maybe play a little bit before I go. But I need some quiet time. What do I do with that other one? What do I do with my main flute? Okay. Where's the flute? This is not the right one. This one doesn't work as well as the other one. And I don't see where the other one is. Huh. Wait. Let's stick it in here. Okay, I quit. I give up. I give up. I'm gonna just quit. Peace and love, Hilarious. Thanks for coming. Well, thanks, Denise. I had a lovely day, and you know, thanks for showing up and trying to ruin mine. What else would you like to say? Maybe I'll stick around. I'm in the mood to be nasty. Who else? Does anybody here want to get nasty with me before I go? Nah, fuck it. Fuck it. You know, sorry I don't look good to you. I need some quiet time. Thanks for coming, folks. Happy day. Bye-bye.